Hi, and welcome to another edition of GLP's 10 out of 10. And this week we have with us LeRoy Bennett. A Rhode Island native, Roy started his performance career as a singer, but learned very quickly that he didn't want to be on stage and hung up his microphone after just an hour. Since then, Roy has gone on to become one of the most prolific lighting and production designers in the live entertainment industry. His career to date spans across the past 4 decades, and his resume of clients and collaborators is a real who's who of popular music. From iconic partnerships with artists like Jean-Michel Jarre, Prince, and Paul McCartney, Roy has also worked with the likes of Queen, Luther Vandross, Madonna, Nine Inch Nails, Faith Hill and Tim McGraw, Beyonce, The Cure, Maroon 5, Kelly Clarkson, Ariana Grande, Rammstein, The Weeknd, and with Lady Gaga on her tours and her current residency in Las Vegas. And that's just to highlight a few. It really is. His television work includes an extensive number of broadcasts for VH1, MTV, Fox, HBO, and Fuse. Roy has also won a number of accolades during his career, including multiple Parnelli Awards, a Night of Illumination Sword, along with awards from Tour Guide's Top Dog, from Performance Magazine, from Total Production International, and the Broadcast Design Awards for both his lighting and set designs. Roy has also been inducted into the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame. Welcome, LeRoy Bennett.
Holy crap, that's me?
That's you, that's all you. And there's a lot of bits that were left out. It's incredible. The first question to you is, what was your first show as a designer?
As far as a full-fledged designer was Prince.
Right.
That was back in 1980. I was working for Zenith, which at the time, which still was a British-based, it was the London office was in London, but it was they had an office here in Torrance, California.
Right.
And so I worked out of that office, and so I started off as a technician.
Right.
So anyway, I started with Prince. I got my job with Prince through Zenith. Bruno Gaff, who was running the office at the time, took me out to dinner one night and said, well, you look, and I believe that you want to be more than a technician. And I said, absolutely, I want to be a designer.
Okay.
And so he said, the next client that comes through that doesn't have a designer, I'll put your name forward. And the next thing I know, he says, I got a client for his name is Prince. And I didn't know who he was at the time. And a lot of people didn't.
Wow. But all in all, I mean, talk about, I guess, just being in the right place at the right time, because it was an epic partnership. It absolutely was. Of course, over the years, we mentioned just a few of the shows that you've worked on. Our second question is to ask people, what's your biggest kind of Spinal Tap moment?
Well, I never actually, fortunately, had a Spinal Tap moment like that, but one of the things that I was asked to design was an inspiration for the actual movie, one of the things in Spinal Tap. I was working with the Scorpions at the time, and this is before Spinal Tap. And the Scorpions wanted me to design these pods that they came out of in the beginning of the show, which was the pods of the movie. Yes. So that's my connection to Spinal Tap. That's about as far as it goes. Is that?
That's perfect. That's what a brilliant answer. What's the best advice that anyone's ever given you, either professionally or otherwise?
I think the best advice that I've ever was given was just to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not be afraid to be myself. It was my parents, really.
Right.
Believe in yourself. And that has always echoed through my life, and particularly with my work.
Right. And so over this these past 4 decades and counting, what would you say is your proudest achievement so far?
Doing all the things I've done.
Right.
I know that's a really lame answer, but people say, well, what's your favorite project? And there's many, and I always explain it, every project's a child. So how do you choose which child is better? You don't. Right. They all have a purpose. They all serve something. They've all meant something. I may learn something from one project that I carry into another project. So it's hard for me to say what, everything is, that's a very difficult question.
Right. But that's a great answer though as well. I mean, you can be proud of everything that you've ever produced, or the shows that you've put on for everybody, or the audience that have been warmed by watching all of those performances. So when you're not out working on some of these shows, what do you normally do in your downtime?
Clear my mind. Home is a big deal for me. Mm-hmm. I make my home a place where it's inspirational. I like, it doesn't have really I don't have anything that represents my work in my home. So I spend a lot of my off time cooking, just going to museums, going out to my favorite fashion shops, hanging out with friends.
Right.
Enjoying nature, all the things just are way outside of what work is.
Right. Obviously, with all of the shows that you've done and all of the people that you've worked with, you've worked globally, completely internationally. Do you have any particular favorite venue that you've enjoyed working out with, that you like going back to?
The venues that I played and done shows in are not your normal venues. The ones that I really enjoyed the most, with The Cure on the prayer tour, the first tour I did with them, we played a load of old Roman Colosseums in Bull Ring. That was fun. Because the venue itself had a history. There was something wonderful about it. Stadiums are stadiums. They don't really, with the exception of the stadium in Berlin, the rest of the Olympic Stadium there, the rest of them,
If obviously we're in the middle of the lockdown, the pandemic situation at the moment. If there was one artist or one musical album that you just couldn't live without, that you loved going back to, who would that be?
It's really hard. It's one artist that I reference a lot, that I like a lot, is Trenta Moller. He's a Danish artist.
Okay.
I like Berlin-based electronic music a lot. As far as artists I work with, Prince albums, Sign of the Times would be one of my favorite ones. And the Parade album. I love the Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me album by The Cure.
Right.
Violator album by Depeche Mode. What's the name of the album? Another Cure album that was the Prayer Tour. Disintegration.
Right. Okay.
9 Inch Nails album. Fragile. Massive Attack is another,
Yeah.
very inspirational to me. Arca is another artist that I like a lot.
Fascinating. Fascinating. If you were to wind back in time and go and visit the teenage Roy, and you could offer him one piece of advice, what would that be?
Don't feel the pressures of being who people want you or feel that you should be. Be yourself at all times.
Right.
Believe in who you are. Believe in the things that inspire you. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't feel that you have to fit in, because you don't have to fit in. That is a problem with society, is that you have to be a certain way.
Right.
It's finding the balance of being yourself, but also getting along, and accepting others.
Right.
Who they are.
Yeah.
Even if they're not like you, they may not like, but it's your choice of associating with them or not associating with them. It's how you figure out in the teenage years, surrounding yourself by the people that are like you.
Right.
Friends ultimately are a reflection of who you are. And that's what you want them to be.
Right.
And that is going to help you become more of who you are.
Yes. If you had the opportunity to sit down with one person, either living or dead, and have a cup of coffee or a glass of whiskey and a cigar with them, who would it be?
My dad.
Right.
Because he was a great inspiration to me, but he never knew to what extent. A lot of what I am is because of him. And the house that I grew up was because he was an interior designer, super creative. So the environment I grew up was very visually stimulating. Like I said, he took me to my first concert. He opened my eyes to fashion. He really kind of gave me this world. He opened this world to me that really made me who I am. But my dad never really saw what I did. He's never had an experience to see what I became. My mom did, but my dad never did. And I would love to sit down with him and talk about what he did for me.
Right. That's great. That's great. Obviously, you're very, very proud of that relationship and of what you've achieved since, and to be able to, push that back towards him. We've now made it to our final question.
Okay.
And so the final one is a bit more kind of off the wall. You're going to get a phone call in a minute, and it's going to be from the US Olympic Association, and they're going to call you up to compete for the United States. Now, it could be in either the Summer Games or the Winter Games, but the question is, which sport are they going to call you up for? What have you always fancied?
Oh, I'd be into snowboarding.
Hooray! Okay. Yeah.
I haven't been on my board for quite a while. I used to be a skier. I started when I was 13, but I took up snowboarding because the boots were more comfortable.
It's a lot softer.
But I fell in love with snowboarding because it's graceful. There's something wonderful about it, and I would totally be into that.
Totally snowboarding. What a fascinating answer. Absolutely. That'd be brilliant. Fantastic. Roy, thank you so much for finding some time for us. We really appreciate it. It's been brilliant to get these insights from you, and so certainly some inspirational thoughts for everybody who's watching out there. Good luck through the rest of the lockdown. Of course, I look forward to meeting up in person at the next opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to you, and keep moving forward. We'll come out of this. I know we will. We'll come out better and at another level. It's just a massive reset for us at the moment.
Yeah.